Welcome back to my channel. We've spent a lot of time talking about whole grains and pantry staples here on my channel. If you're new here, my name is Dee Dee. Welcome on into my kitchen. Today we are continuing that conversation with another incredibly important traditional food, beans. In these containers I have three different types. There's red kidney beans, also very similarly are the small beans and the pink beans. Here I have garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas, and here I have some white Great Northern beans. We'll talk about where they come from, how they're grown, their nutritional benefits, how to cook them, and some important things consumers should know when preparing dried beans at home. Now, the bean category in your grocery store is quite large. There are many varieties that you can find both in dried form and in canned form. I prefer to use dried beans. They store better, they last longer, and I can use them when I'm ready for them, as long as I give a little bit of forethinking. So I keep these beans in my pantry on rotation, and I will use them for various dishes that we rotate through. Did you know that beans have been feeding civilizations for thousands of years, and that one simple preparation mistake with certain beans can actually make you sick? Today we're comparing these powerhouse pantry staples and learning what makes each one unique. Let's start with one of the most recognizable beans. Again, these are small red beans. They're similar to kidney beans and pink beans. So the information I'm going to be giving you today will be similar for those three bean varieties. So these beans are believed to have originated in Central and South America and have been cultivated for thousands of years. Indigenous peoples relied heavily on beans as a major food source long before European explorers brought them around the world. Kidney beans are now grown in many places, including the United States, especially states like North Dakota, Michigan, California, and Colorado, as well as countries like India, China, Brazil, and Argentina. These beans are rich in plant-based protein, fiber, iron, potassium, folate, and magnesium. Their deep red color also comes from antioxidant compounds that help protect cells from damage. Because they're high in fiber and protein, kidney beans can help keep you feeling full longer and support stable blood sugar levels. Dried kidney beans are minimally processed. After harvesting, they're cleaned and dried for storage, which allows them to last for years in the pantry. To cook dried kidney beans, first sort and rinse them well. Then soak them overnight or use a quick soak method. When using dried beans, you have to do a little bit of forethinking. You have to think about when you're going to need them and how much time you have before preparing them. They work best if you soak them overnight, but you can also soak them early in the morning when you wake up and you're preparing for the day. Get the amount that you need, place them in some water, and then by dinner time they will be soaked through and ready for cooking. After soaking, drain the soaking water, add fresh water, and boil the beans for at least 10 minutes before reducing to a simmer. Then cook for about 45 minutes to an hour until tender. Kidney beans contain a naturally occurring compound called phytohemagglutinin, which can cause digestive issues if the beans are undercooked. Proper boiling destroys this compound, which is why fully cooking dried kidney beans is very important. Next, we have one of the oldest cultivated foods in human history. Garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas. Garbanzo beans, also known as chickpeas, date back more than 7,000 years and are believed to have originated in the Middle East. They became an important staple in ancient civilizations, including Egypt, Greece, and Rome, and today they're widely used in cuisines around the world, from hummus in the Mediterranean to curries in India. Chickpeas are commonly grown in India, Turkey, Pakistan, Australia, Mexico, and the United States. Garbanzo beans are packed with protein, fiber, folate, manganese, magnesium, iron, and B vitamins. They're especially known for supporting digestion and heart health while also providing long-lasting energy. Like most dried beans, garbanzo beans are minimally processed, typically just harvested, cleaned, and dried. To prepare dried chickpeas, sort and rinse them, then soak overnight, or again first thing in the morning. Cook them in fresh water for about 1.5 hours to 2 hours until soft. For a creamier texture, especially for homemade hummus, you can cook them even longer. And finally, we have a mild, creamy bean that works beautifully in soups and comfort foods. Great Northern beans originated in North America and became especially popular in traditional American and European cooking. They're known for their mild flavor and creamy texture, which allows them to absorb the flavors of whatever they're cooked with. Today, Great Northern beans are widely grown in the United States, especially in Michigan, North Dakota, Nebraska, and Washington, as well as parts of Canada and Europe. These beans are rich in protein, fiber, iron, calcium, potassium, folate, and magnesium. Like other beans, they support digestive health, heart health, and provide steady energy thanks to their complex carbohydrates. Great Northern beans are also minimally processed and store extremely well, making them an excellent pantry staple for families. To cook them, rinse and soak the beans again overnight or first thing in the morning, then simmer them in fresh water for about 1 to 1.5 hours until tender. So one thing that many people don't realize is that these beans also contain naturally occurring compounds called anti-nutrients like lectins and phytic acid. But traditional preparation methods like soaking, rinsing, sprouting, and properly cooking beans greatly reduce these compounds and make the nutrients more available to our bodies. This is one reason traditional food preparation methods have been passed down for generations. So in my kitchen today, I'll be making a chicken dinner, and with that, I'll be pairing it with some rice and beans. This will be a traditional Jamaican dish, and I will bring you back to show you how I work through that preparation. So it's first thing in the morning, and you know, in my kitchen I like to get myself prepared for the day. So I already have my chicken thawing, and I am going to be preparing this rice and peas for dinner. So I have already soaked my beans, and I will be soaking this until I'm ready to cook this off for this evening's dinner. So since I was making this for dinner today, I thought I would give you a little bit more information about beans, how they can be added to your diet, what they provide, and how you can work it into your schedule for meal preparation. So here's the quick breakdown about the 3 beans we just talked about today. Kidney beans are hearty, rich, and an excellent addition to chilies and soups. Garbanzo beans are versatile and nutrient dense with a creamy texture. And Great Northern beans are mild, comforting, and perfect for slow cooked meals. So you can throw these in your Instapot with other vegetables and meats and allow them to cook over a long period of time, and they will come out tender every time. If you don't want to use an Instant Pot or other slow cooking method, you can soak them overnight, or you can soak them first thing in the morning, and when you're ready to prepare your meal for the evening, they will be soaked through and ready for preparation in any way you'd like to use them. So let me know down in the comment section down below which bean you use in your kitchen most, or if there's another bean variety that you prefer. And if you enjoy learning about traditional foods and pantry staples, don't forget to subscribe and share this video with others. Alright guys, welcome back. These are the beans I had soaking this morning. It is time to start working on dinner. I transferred them from my measuring bowl to this larger bowl, changed the water a few times, and so now they should be ready to cook. I'm going to rinse them one more time and then get them on my stove in a pot of boiling water. Okay, so I have rinsed my beans well, and I've put enough water in there to cover the beans, and now I'm going to just flavor my pot just a little bit. I'm going to add some dried thyme. You can put fresh thyme if you do have that, that would be wonderful. Some salt, some garlic powder, a little bit of black pepper, and some whole pimento seeds. About a handful. Alright, we're going to give this a gentle stir and get this on the stove. Okay, so this is on a medium heat right now. Once it starts boiling, I'm going to bring it down and leave it on a low simmer for the next 45 minutes to an hour or so. Once it's cooked through all the way, then I will add some rice and create a flavorful pot of rice and peas. Alright guys, it's early afternoon. It's time to get ready to make dinner, and I have made whole chicken, roasted chicken several times on this channel, so I'm just going to show you how I prepare it. Again, I'm pairing that today with the rice and beans, and I'm going to show you how I do that. So my chicken has already been washed and cleaned, and I am now applying some oil. I had some oil at the bottom of my pan, so I'm just applying oil all over the skin of the chicken. I'm flipping it to the back and I'm going to season. Let me wash my hands. Okay, I find this works best if I open all of my containers and have them ready to go. So I'm adding a little bit of flair to the chicken today by putting some Jamaican jerk seasoning on there. Usually I would make my own, but I'm at the point in the month where I need to restock on pretty much everything. I need to make ketchup, I need to make barbecue sauce, I need to make Jamaican green sauce, and so I like to keep this on hand as a backup for days like this when I don't have the homemade blend at home in stock. I can just use this. So I'm just going to season this liberally with all of these seasonings. So this is primarily going to go into the cavity of the chicken. I'm going to use my hand. Now this is the mild version, and I'm not going to put too much on here because I am feeding this to my children, so I don't want it to be too spicy. And so now I'm just going to flip the chicken and do the same thing on the other side. I'm working it underneath the skin so the flavor can travel all the way through. Okay, and then I'm just going to treat this like any roasted chicken. I'm going to cover this down and get it into my preheated oven. Okay, so the chicken is ready. I'm going to allow it to soak for a little bit, maybe about 10 minutes, and then I'm going to pop it in the oven. All right, I'm taking you over to take a look at the beans. They are at a rolling boil right now. I'm stirring to make sure that none of them have fallen to the bottom of the pot and are starting to stick, but this is looking really good. I'm going to lower the flame and allow this to continue cooking. Alright, so as you can see, the beans have cooked down significantly. They are soft to the touch now, so I'm going to be adding the rice to the pot. My rice has already been washed and prepared. So I've added the rice. I'm now adding 1 can of coconut milk. And give that a stir. Alright, so I added 1 can of coconut milk, and then I went in and added about another ½ cup of water. I added 1 tablespoon of butter. I added a little bit more salt and a little bit more of the thyme. If you have green onions right now, this would be a perfect time to add this. I've stirred the pot to ensure that there's nothing is sticking to the bottom. None of my rice is sticking to the bottom. None of my beans are sticking to the bottom. And so now I'm going to cover this down and allow this to cook. Alright guys, it's halfway through the cooking process. What I'm going to do now is just to baste my chicken. I'm taking the juices that were released and I'm just pouring it over the chicken. This helps to redistribute the moisture, and it's going to encourage browning. The chicken has been cooking for an hour covered, so I'm going to cook it for another 15 or so minutes covered, and then I'm going to take the cover off and cook it for the final 15 minutes uncovered, so I'll get a nice golden color at the end. This can be used simply as it is, the gravy at the bottom of my pan, or I could take this and make a roux with some freshly milled flour, and I can make a white gravy. Depending on how much I have left after this is all finished, I will make a gravy. But as of right now, this looks really, really good. Alright guys, the rice is finished. As you can see, it's very flaky and it is delicious. Remember, the secret to making flavorful rice and peas is to soak your beans. You can soak them early in the morning or you can soak them overnight. And you also want to wash your rice well, making sure to remove as much of the starch as possible before cooking it. This was cooked in 1 can of coconut milk and water. And don't forget, you're going to season your pot twice. You're going to season it when you put the beans in, and then you're going to season it when you add the rice. Okay? So here we have a nice flaky pot of rice and beans ready for our dinner. Our roasted chicken is also ready. The gravy is beautiful, so I'm not going to make another gravy to go with this. This is just going to work perfectly fine. I'm going to baste the chicken one more time. I just pulled it out the oven, so I'm going to rest it for about 10 minutes before I cut into it. That allows the juices to get reconstituted and it will be that much more flavorful. So it's going to rest for a few minutes. Okay guys, I'm excited to share that my cookbooks are now available for purchase on Amazon. This is simply homemade. Again, it is written for the from scratch cooker. Maybe you're just starting out, maybe you've been cooking from scratch for a long time, but you need some inspiration for new recipes. The recipes are straightforward and they are easy to follow. So you have recipes in here for breakfast, lunch, dinner. There is also a lot of ideas for desserts. Here you go, the roasted chicken, something I've been making for quite some time. There are all types of recipes in here, and this is a wonderful base for anyone who wants to start cooking from scratch. Again, recipes in here for breakfast, lunch, dinner, how to make our favorite sauces. I also included ideas for beverages because there are so many different options for beverages. So I've included some of that as well. And in the very back, I've included some mixes for the pantry, because you know, when we start from scratch cooking, we learn how to cook the proteins, we learn how to cook the grains, we learn how to make the bread, we learn how to do all those things, and then we realize, hey, maybe we can also replace the seasoning packets that we're buying. And so I have included a lot of different ideas for seasonings and mixes that you can keep in your pantry. This book is designed to help the beginner and the seasoned cook from scratch, and it has lots of different recipes that are ready for your kitchen. Additionally, I've also created a cookbook for freshly milled flour. So we've been on our freshly milled flour journey for quite some time, and when we switched to using freshly milled flour, I wanted to make sure that I had reliable recipes that I could replicate in my kitchen time and time again, and that my children could also use. So Simply Fresh is now available, and it is also designed in the same vein. It has an educational portion that lets you know all about the different grains, the parts of the grains, and then in the back you'll have over 100 recipes to get you started on your freshly milled flour journey. All of these recipes are designed for fresh flour, and they are designed for you to use hard white wheat or soft white wheat. I also included some recipes for spelt and Parmesan. So most of the recipes, however, are for hard white and soft white. So if you're just starting out and you just need something reliable that you can use over and over again, this is the book for you. And in here, you're going to find recipes for all kinds of things. I'll take you to the table of contents. You're going to find recipes for yeast breads, flatbreads, quick breads, specialty bakes, breakfast bakes, cookies, bars, desserts, anything you can possibly think of. Again, this is 100 recipes to get you started, and the way the book is designed is to start with the easier recipes in each section, and then the recipes get progressively more difficult and technical. So if you are interested in using freshly milled flour, if you would like just a simple cookbook that is going to be very straightforward and getting right to the point with clear directions, then this is the book for you. Again, Simply Fresh, available on Amazon. Simply Homemade for the scratch cooker. They are both complementary to each other, and they are wonderful additions to anyone's kitchen. If you have questions, if you have comments about either of these, feel free to leave them down in the comment section, and I will be happy to address any questions about the books. Thank you for being here today. Thank you for being you. Thank you for always sharing my videos, liking, and for commenting as well. I appreciate all of you, and I look forward to seeing you in the next video.